Well, good evening, everybody, and War Eagle. Thank you for joining us tonight for this session. As we're right at 6 o'clock, we're going to go ahead and get started. So on behalf of the Harvard College of Business at Auburn University, I want to thank you for joining this informational webinar on the Masters of Supply Chain Management program. And we're also going to talk about the supply chain graduate certificates that we offer. Just to introduce who we are tonight, my name is Jordan Holliday. I serve as the Director of Graduate Recruiting for the Harvard College of Business. And leading tonight's session is going to be Dr. Ishfaq, who's the Associate Professor and Graduate Programs Coordinator for the Department of Supply Chain Management. We also have listed here Dr. Glenn Ritchie, who is our Chair of the Department of Supply Chain Management, and April Hurley, who is the Academic Programs Administrator for the Supply Chain Program. They're not joining us tonight, but their emails are listed there as another point of contact for who you could reach out to for more information about the program. The next slide just has some simple protocol for tonight. I know we've all used Zoom a lot at this point, but we just asked tonight that if you have questions, please use the Q&A function. At any point throughout, we'll have a designated question and answer portion at the end as well. But we will try to get to all of those questions that we can, and our hope is to answer every question that you have about the program tonight. But now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Ishfaq so he can get started.
Thank you, Jordan, and a very warm Auburn welcome to everyone who has joined us today. I know it's an evening session. You all probably had a long day at work or maybe spending time taking care of things at home. So I do appreciate the time that you have given us. I'll try to be brief and want to spend most of our time together in terms of giving you information and answering questions that you might have. The general framework of our session is that I will give you the overview of our Masters of Science program in Supply Chain Management. We'll talk about the curriculum, the coursework that is involved, and we'll talk about other career services, and then move to the main part, which is related to admissions requirements. What are all the different things that you would need to submit? And we'll talk about tuition and return on your investment. So let's get started. The introduction to Auburn Supply Chain Management program is something that is recognized around the country and globally. We are part of the Harvard College of Business that is accredited by AACSB. What that means is that our college has been recognized in terms of the quality of our academic programs, as well as our alumni base that gives us a really, really great standing in the industry. We are recognized in a lot of rankings. Sometimes people think about rankings as something that we just have, but it is reflective of the quality of our academic programs. We are ranked in the top 10 by Gartner, which is a industry-focused ranking organization. You are probably more familiar with the US News and World Report rankings. We are actually in the top 25 programs in the country. What that reflects is that we have, over the years, been recognized for the strength and the quality of our programs. Specifically in the supply chain management department on the college, we offer master's degree, both as on-campus and online program formats. We will talk about that in a bit more detail just in a few minutes. In addition to the master's degree, we also offer graduate certificates, which are a smaller non-degree options comprised of 4 courses that targets or focus on a particular aspect of supply chain management. We will also talk about today the dual degree program, where you get to earn your MBA and your master's degree concurrently, and there are certainly some benefits in pursuing a dual degree option as part of your graduate education. The biggest component, the biggest aspect of our program that I would like you to know from our session is that our program is very much practice oriented. And what I mean by that is that the curriculum, the course materials, professors who teach in the program have all got a very strong connection with industry and practice. All the professors in the program have worked in industry. They have been conducting research for the past many years, which is closely tied in with business practice. There is a lot of industry engagement, not just in terms of the content and how the professors have been able to develop these courses in collaboration with practitioners. It's also that the content is focused on case studies. A lot of our courses are built around studying different organizations that you are very familiar with. You will probably recognize their names. And we look at how these companies are being run, their supply chain strategies, their supply chain plans, and how different trends in the industry impact these organizations, and how they have adjusted and adapted their supply chains based on how the market has shifted. Certainly, the past few years have been a great learning experience in terms of how supply chains can be disrupted and how different challenges come about, and the best ways that we can prepare ourselves to be prepared to do the best thing in managing these supply chains. So the coursework, the content, the program itself is very focused on practice with a lot of industry engagement. And another plus that I would add to our program is the strength of the Auburn network. This network comprises of tens of thousands of Auburn alumni who have been very successful in their careers, and they have a very strong connection to Auburn University. At the Harvard College of Business, we make sure that you get access to these individuals, these executives, through the classroom and through programs that I will talk about in our career development section, where you get to seek out mentorship from these executives and successful professionals as part of the Auburn network. With this background, let's talk about the master's degree program itself. The master's degree will be about taking 10 courses. Out of those 10 courses, 6 courses are required, and these courses are listed here. Each course in a university setting is about 3 credit hours of weekly engagement. So that's about 18 credits of required coursework. I want you to take a little bit of time to read through the description of these required courses. That will give you a feel about the breadth of training that you would receive as part of Auburn's Supply Chain Masters. We cover from the demand side all the way to the supply side. We cover strategy, we cover operations, we cover planning. So you get a very fulsome and a detailed end-to-end education in terms of understanding modern supply chains. Beyond the required coursework, you will also have the opportunity to take elective courses. These are courses taught by business faculty here at Auburn University. And these are courses and content that relates directly to supply chain management. You see in the listing here, project management as a course, quantitative decision-making, quality and integrating business processes. So there are a number of electives that you can pick and choose in terms of your own interest and expectations, and say, beyond the required courses, let me add 4 additional courses to round off the 10 courses that you would need. And I would point you to the last line on this slide that says other courses that could be also taken among the electives. So if you have an interest in maybe leadership, or maybe you want to talk about ethics and get a more deep dive into some technology courses, we will have the opportunity to offer those courses, and you will get to add that into your degree program. The master's degree is what's called a non-thesis degree. So it's a coursework-driven degree program. You complete your 10 courses, and that gets you the master's degree. Our full-time students typically complete the master's program within 18 months. If you want to spread this out around semesters, if you start in fall, then you will take 3 courses in fall. That's the full course load. 3 courses in fall, 3 in spring, maybe 1 course over the summer because it's a shorter time. And then you have your 3 courses in the following fall, and you're done. So 18 months, you can finish your master's degree full-time. If you are a working professional and you would like to take the online program, take the master's degree through the online program, then you can take 2 courses a semester. And we're pretty flexible in terms of which courses would those be. The whole idea is that you keep pace with the program and take 2 courses. And if it is a busy semester at work or at home, and you wouldn't like to drop it down to one course a semester, even that's all right. So this is a very flexible program for the part-time students. Most of our part-time students take 2 courses per semester. So you can take two courses per semester and be done in 5 semesters. If you want to go faster than that, we can discuss that and see what's the best way for you to finish your online degree sooner than that. So that is the basic structure of our master's program. For those of you who are interested in coming to campus and taking the master's degree on campus as a full-time student, you will be taking 3 courses a semester. For part-time online students, you take 2 courses a semester. For the online students, for the full-time students who come to campus and take the master's degree here in Auburn, we offer graduate assistantships. Graduate assistantship is where you would get tuition assistance. Your tuition will be waived, and there will be a monthly stipend for a certain reasonable number of hours that you will work in the department. And most of this graduate assistantship work is actually research-based. It's based on working with professors. So it's a learning experience in itself. It's not just work, it's actually work related to your own professional development. The graduate assistantships are competitive, as you can imagine. If you have good credentials, you have good experiences, you have good academic records, then you will be able to earn a graduate assistantship award. To be able to get a graduate assistantship, there are certain deadlines that we need to talk about, and I'll get to those in just a second. Even if you think about the experience of coming to campus and be immersed in the activities in person, there is, I think, no substitute for building the network of peers and the in-person rapport that you build with your professors. There are a lot of events that happen on campus in which we have industry executives come over and speak to the students. We take our students to to companies around Auburn and Atlanta mostly, and you get a chance to actually compete in case competitions and travel to different cities and compete with other universities as part of these competitions. We have a research center on campus that is offering opportunities for graduate students to get engaged with research projects that the faculty is working on, or maybe the companies are sponsoring. So pursuing a master's degree on campus full-time has certainly got its benefits, its perks, and it's a great experience. You will work with you will take the program, take the courses with a cohort. The classes that you will take, you will be all together, and you get to build that network, those professional bonds and personal bonds that last us a lifetime. So there's a lot of benefit to that. For those working professionals who have got a career going on and it's not the right time for them to take a break and come to campus for a year and a half, we have a part-time online program for you. And if it's not just about your work commitments, maybe there's a family commitment that will not allow you to come to campus. In those cases, we have built in a flexibility that would be very appealing to those of you who are interested in continuing your career or be engaged with your family situation and still undertake graduate education. So for those folks, as I said earlier, you can take the Supply Chain Master's program at a slower pace, 2 courses per semester, 1 course per semester, if that would be the best for you in a short term. But I want you to understand that your educational experience in a course is not going to be any different than if you are here on campus. In fact, the way we look at our online students is that they are a part of the classroom experience. So what you would see is that online students are, in a way, brought into the classroom through live recording of the class lecture. So the content of online courses is not like, a talking head and just listening to a sound over. No, you are going to be viewing the live recorded lectures in the classroom, maybe the same day that class was held on campus. I'm teaching a class like that right now. So I'll go to the classroom. We will have a room full of graduate students. We will have our lecture. We'll have our discussions. We will have our engagements. We will probably do a little simulation game or maybe discuss a case study. All of that is going to be recorded, live recorded, and then put online for you to view maybe a couple of hours later. So it's pretty quick. And in order for online students to be able to feel the connection with the instructor, we host live Zoom sessions on a fairly frequent basis so that you get to interact with the professors just like we're talking right now. And you get to ask questions, you get to share your opinions, you get to ask perspective about maybe something at work that is related to the subject matter in the classroom. As I said before, we look at our online students as literally an extension of our on-campus students. So you get the same curriculum, same quality of instructors, and same amount of work as well. So we kind of work around how that can happen. On the online space, I think we are mindful in a way that you have a working career. So from that standpoint, I personally, when I organize my course, I make sure that the assignments and the submissions are spread over at least 2 weekends, because that's probably the best time for working professionals to allocate dedicated time to work on their graduate education. So other professors in the program have a similar outlook as I do, that we would like to facilitate your graduate education while maintaining the rigor and the quality of that program. Beyond just the master's degree itself, let us talk about the dual degree option. The dual degree option comprises of an MBA degree and the master's degree. We offer this dual degree option both for online students and for campus students. What's the benefit of a dual degree program is that as you are completing your MBA here in Auburn, either on campus or online, you get to add a supply chain master's degree to your MBA program. And the program works in a way that you can earn 2 degrees at the same time. So there are a bit of overlap that these 2 degrees share about 4 courses between them. So what that means is that when you take these 4 courses as part of your MBA program, you get credit for the supply chain master's program as well. So in a way, if you think about that, a dual degree will get you a master's of supply chain credentials at a shorter time. And because you are taking 4 courses that count for your MBA degree as well, your cost is going to be cut by 40%. So a lot of our MBA students see a lot of value in taking a dual degree option and earning a master's degree along the way. For campus students who take this degree, what you do is you finish your MBA and then you spend another extra semester, one more semester, and you get both the degrees. For online students, we build in your supply chain and MBA courses together in the degree plan, and then we make sure that you are finished with both course requirements in a compressed time, rather than taking two separate degrees. So that's a very popular and a very, very useful graduate education option, both in terms of compressing time and in terms of reducing the cost of the degree program itself. I mentioned earlier that our supply chain department on campus have additional graduate offerings beyond the master's degree and the dual degree. The department also offers graduate certificate options. What a graduate certificate is, if you haven't heard of this term before, is that it's a diploma that is based on a smaller group of courses that are targeted towards a specific skill set. So if you look at the three graduate certificates that we offer, supply chain management innovation, supply chain planning, and supply chain operations, each of these graduate certificates focus on a specific aspect of supply chain. So if you're interested in learning about operations and getting a credential, a certificate that certifies that you have got a competence in supply chain operations, then you can take the 4 courses that are listed here on the screen and you will earn a graduate certificate in operations. Same is the case with the certificate in planning. And if you are interested in more strategy level, innovation level kind of education, then we have a certificate, supply chain management innovation certificate. These courses, these certificates can be earned as part of your MBA program if you are here in Auburn, or certificates can be taken as a standalone certificate as a non-degree student. So we have a lot of flexibility and program offerings in that regard as well. So that's these are the programs, the degree programs and certificates that we offer. Let's talk a little bit about other support services that Auburn provides to its graduate students beyond just the educational part of it. And of course, a big part of that is the placements. We have a dedicated career services group here in the College of Business that focuses specifically on the graduate students. These career services are available to campus students, and these are available to online students as well. Our career services group is very active. They organize professional development seminars. You can take actually a class in which you would get to develop your professional skills to be able to do better in the interviews, be able to polish up your CV and your resume, and network. That's another big part of the career services, that they provide mentorship and close connections with industry executives and professionals so that you get direct feedback and direct input from people in your field that have done really well over time. So what about the admissions process? Well, the admissions process is pretty straightforward and simple. There is a bunch of application materials that I will talk about in just a few minutes that you will compile, and everything is online, of course, so you can create an account on the graduate school website and turn in your online application, upload the necessary documents, and do all of that before the submission deadlines. The applications are received in 2 batches in a way. The first batch would be the early decisions. Early decision are going to be, that deadline is April 1st, just a couple of weeks from now. And then after that, we continue to receive applications up until July 1st. The benefit of getting your application in for early decision is that first of all, you will be able to know your prospects of getting into the master's program. And second, if you're interested in a on-campus program and you are looking for graduate assistantship, the assistantship and financial awards are decided by the early decision. So there are certain benefits, especially for on-campus students, to be able to get in and then also get financial assistance for your graduate education. For online students and people who need more time to gather the documents and things, we still continue to receive applications after the early decision. But July 1st is kind of like the last date, then you have to turn it in. So what would it take? What are the things that you would need to turn in as part of your application packet? First thing would be, some biographical information, your background and personal information, your educational information, those kind of things. So there's an online application that you would have to complete. We will ask you to upload your copy of your academic transcripts, especially your undergraduate education. These can be, copies that you have just to get the process started. And once you're admitted, you would be asked to actually turn in official transcripts, but we can look at your application and make a decision while looking at the copies that you personally have. We will ask you to turn in 2 letters of recommendations. These are the letters that are written by people whom you know, preferably people that you have worked for, and they can speak to your ability to be a good professional and handle graduate education. We receive a lot of recommendation letters from supervisors, which is a good thing. And any work-related recommendations are always a very strong suit. Another thing that you might have to kind of work on and polish up a little bit is a professional statement of purpose. This is a statement where you get a chance to talk with the admissions committee. What you are trying to project here is to connect your desires and your professional goals in the supply chain field, where you see the graduate education making a big contribution in getting you the necessary skills to move forward in your career. Statement of purpose can also help the admissions committee understand what are the specific skills that you are trying to polish up, and what are your plans of using the graduate degree, and how do you intend to pursue improve your career prospects. So the statement of purpose is a very important document that helps the admissions committee understand you as a person and as a professional. You will turn in your work resume. This is a graduate education, and having work experience goes a long way in getting the best benefit, the best bang for your buck in terms of spending all the time and energy learning about advanced concepts. So we ask you to turn in your professional resume just so that the admissions committee can see what your work experience is, what has been your trajectory. And if you're a recent graduate, maybe we can look at your internship experiences and how you have been able to build your skill set as a supply chain professional. We have a lot of our graduate students who do not have a undergraduate education in supply chain management, and that's perfectly fine. We are encouraging people to look at supply chain as their career, and even if they didn't start out in supply chain, but now has gotten to see the growth and the opportunities that exist in the supply chain field, we encourage you to apply and improve your supply chain credentials that way. We do ask you to take GMAT scores or, as a substitute, GRE test scores. These scores add on to the strength of your application. But in certain cases, maybe you have been out of college for a long time, and your work experience maybe can be substituted for the strength of your application that might come from an academic test scores like GMAT and GRE. So in those cases, we have a waiver policy which is posted on our website. And certainly if you're interested in a GMAT waiver, we can talk about that, and we can direct you to the place where you can apply for a waiver, and your application will be reviewed with the waiver in there. All right, so what about the expense? How much does it cost? Well, the online program is about $900 per credit hour. So if you round that off for the 30 credits this program is, that's $27,000 for the program. There are some additional fees, the confirmation fee and the graduation fee, that will be a part of it. If you're coming on campus and you are an Alabama resident, state resident, then you will have a cost which is $22,000, or if you're from out of state, it's $56,000. And this is where I would say that graduate assistantships go a long way in subsidizing a lot of this expense. Your graduate assistantship will actually you won't have to pay any tuition. You will only be required to pay the professional fees and the other fees that are listed here. So from that standpoint, everybody looks at the cost of graduate education and they say, okay, what do I get? What do I get as part of this program? Certainly your academic credentials will be better, but there has to be more to that. So for that, I will point you to a number of studies that are done in the industry, especially the 2021, this last year, Council of Supply Chain Management Professionals have collected salary survey data, and they show that people who earn a master's degree have reported about $26,000 of higher median salary. Now, if you think about that, if with a master's degree, you will be able to increase your earning potential to a point where the cost of the master's degree from Auburn will be recuperated within 2 years. So it's a great return on investment that you are you're not paying tuition, you're not paying these fees as the expense of getting a diploma. You are investing in your future, and your career prospects improve to a point where that investment will pay dividends many years beyond your master's, your graduate education experience. That kind of like wraps up. I've taken 30 minutes of your time, and I'm mindful that we need to be able to ask for questions. So as you think through all the things that I've talked about, we have a Q&A tab where you can click and type in your questions. We have Jordan here who's going to look through that and read it out, and I will be able to respond. Jordan himself is the director of recruiting, so he has a lot of knowledge and information about our graduate programs. While you're thinking about that and you're typing in your questions, I'll point to the QR code here on screen. You can take a picture or put up the camera on your phone and take a picture, and it'll get you to the website where you can schedule a Zoom appointment. We have staff available to talk to you. We can set up a 15-minute, a 30-minute time with you on Zoom, and you get to work one-on-one with our admissions counselors, our admission advisors, and you will be able to get very detailed information from all of that. So while you're thinking about these things, I'll ask Jordan to kind of pull up the Q&A tab and see what kind of questions do we have.
Sure. So the first question is about the cost for the dual degree program if you want to do the MS and the MBA online. So the cost is $900 per credit hour, regardless of MBA versus the MS programs. It's just $900 per credit hour. So the total number of credit hours you can probably speak to, Dr. Ishfaq.
Right, so you earn your MBA degree, $900 a credit hour. The benefit of doing the dual degree is when we double count your courses, right? So 12 credit hours, 12 times 900, right? Though that expense, you will be taking courses that counts towards your MBA degree and your master's degree. So in a way, the cost of the master's program cuts down by 40%. You're only paying for 6 courses instead of 10.
And the next question is, when does the fall semester start?
All right, so fall semester typically starts in the second week of August here in Auburn. Since our online program is so tightly coupled with our on-campus program, so when the campus program starts in mid-August, we start recording lectures live, and the online program starts about the same time.
Those are all the questions that I see currently, but if you have any other questions, please just put them in the Q&A box and we will be happy to get those answered for you.
Certainly, and as you all think through all the things that we have talked about, here's my email address and my phone number. Shoot me an email, rishfaq@auburn.edu. Send me an email with any questions that you have. I'm pretty good with responding with emails. I'll get right back at you and get you all the information that you're looking for.
Okay, the next question is, do we apply for the supply chain degree and the MBA simultaneously?
Right, so these two programs are separate programs, right? So what you do is you turn in an application for MBA, and then you turn in your application separately for the master's, supply chain master's. The benefit, however, is that you don't have to pay 2 application fees, or you don't have to upload your documents multiple times. You can do it either with an MBA application or a master's application, and we will be able to share. But just so that we can process both applications for 2 separate programs, you will turn in 2 online applications at the same time.
And I'll add to that too, if you do start the MBA program and maybe you haven't applied yet, if you're a semester into the MBA program, you would still have time to apply into the supply chain master's program. So it's not that you absolutely have to turn in those applications on the same day at the same time. You do have to apply for them separately, but there is a little wiggle room in terms of when you could pick up another dual degree option. Okay, which candidates proved to be the most competitive for the GMAT GRE waiver?
Right, okay, so the GMAT waiver, first of all, let me speak to the purpose of GMAT test or GRE test. These test scores are there to strengthen your application. Sometimes people talk about the undergraduate GPA was not as high as we expected, we wanted it to be, or my professional experience has allowed me to learn and improve myself as a lifelong learner, and I have got this experience that should count for something. And both of those things are components of the waiver. So we look at your undergraduate GPA, and based on your years of work experience, these 2 factors kind of go hand in hand in determining whether you would have you will be eligible for a waiver. So for example, if you have a 8 years of work experience or 4 years of work experience, then you will be granted waiver based on your undergraduate GPA. You can have more years of work experience and a lower undergraduate GPA, or you can have a fewer years of work experience but a more robust GPA from your undergraduate degree. I would ask you to go to our website, the Supply Chain Masters website, on the Auburn webpage, and look up what's the combination that gets you a waiver.
Well, those are all the questions that I'm seeing right now. So if you don't have any other questions tonight, as Dr. Ishfaq said, you can email him or scan that QR code and reach out to us and set up an appointment. I will also be sending everybody a copy of this presentation in an email after the presentation tonight. So you'll have this to watch back if you want to refer to any of the information that we shared. But thank you again for joining us tonight. We're Eagle, and we hope you have a great rest of your evening.